Hey, I am Nick, and welcome to August. Crazy. I can't believe this summer has gone by so fast, especially given the situation. I really thought we were going to be miserable, stuck in our houses. Um, and while it has been, stressful, I actually wonder if maybe that's made us not pay attention to, like, not be mindful. Like, we're so stressed out, we're sort of like we're taking in all these different inputs from the media, from friends, from our own internal monologue, that time just sort of flies by. So I myself am starting my new Define My Day today, and really trying to reassess where I'm going. And one of the things that I have in mind now is I listen to an old podcast. If you listen to me or watch me with any regularity, you know that. I listen to the Secret to Success podcast, which is four guys that I follow. I kind of like their mindset and how they approach what they're doing overall. And Eric Thomas, yeah, he says it. I don't. It's probably true. I'm guessing that he's like the top motivational speaker in the world right now, which is probably true. Um, so what the one of the things that they said towards the end of their podcast, I think it was last week's or the week before, was that like you can't be so worried about what's happening right now. Like, you have to be focused on, at least to a point, what you want to be when you come out of this. So when we're out of COVID, whenever that happens, who do you want to be at that time when you walk out of your front door? And we've talked about this in the past. We talked about this in the very beginning of when COVID was going to happen. The reason you still keep up with your Define My Day, with your good morning habits, with your exercise, with your eating well, with your education, the reason you keep up with that is so that, one, you maintain this like foundation of health that you've built, but also that you are healthy when you awaken from this, when we emerge from wherever we are right now. So do yourself like a favor, whether you're starting a new book today, and I know there's a lot of people sort of on the same cadence as me. So if I'm starting a new book, there's a lot of you that are starting a new book too. uh, Focus on like where you're going to be in the next couple of months. So if someday we wake up and find out that all restrictions are lifted, and we can go back to work, we can go back to school, we can go back to the bar, whatever you want to do, um, how are you going to emerge from that? From a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from a financial standpoint, where are you going to be? On the other hand, I'm looking at the fall, and I'm seeing that not a whole lot is getting better, economically, from a virus standpoint. So I'm looking at all of the ways that I can conserve, be safe, make sure that our family is in the right place, from a health standpoint, from a mindset standpoint, from a financial standpoint. So, there's certain things that we would love to do, expenses that we would take on normally that we're not going to, because we realize that, a couple $100s here, a couple $1,000s there, it adds up really quick. And, if in a year from now, things take a turn for the worse, we want to make sure that we're in the right position as a family. So, we're taking all of this into consideration, and trying to make sure that we're being healthy in the right places, spending time with the right people, and not focusing too much on the negative. So there's a lot of components into this, as you can tell, right? But we want to make sure that we're focusing on the right areas, and part of that is being healthy for yourself, and that's where we come in. That's where Define My Day comes in. So. But we have a lot of things going on. I have a giveaway announcement that I'm going to make a little bit later on here, and we'll talk about that. But keep your calendar clear on Thursday afternoon. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But how was your weekend? How was everybody? I want to hear how your weekend went. Ours was kind of cloudy, and kind of gave us a little glimpse into what the fall might look like. So we handled a lot of internal things. It was actually a relief for me. I didn't feel that like I needed to take advantage of sunny weather outside. So with it being windy and a little bit rainy and cloudy and gloomy, we stayed inside. I built some shelves in the basement so we could organize some of our basement. Um, I stained an aquarium stand. We decided, so I've always kept a reef aquarium like through childhood. My teens and 20s, right? And a little bit into my 30s, I had a reef aquarium, a little 29-gallon. Cool fish, colorful anemones, all kind of cool stuff, right? Nemo, all that. Uh, but like through moving around and in our old house, we knew we weren't going to be there, although we stayed there for 13 years. I didn't want to do an aquarium because one, it's a lot of money, and we had financial struggles and stuff. Uh, but two, I knew we were going to move because that house wasn't our final house, so I didn't want to do anything as permanent as an aquarium because they're hard to move. So, moving into this place, like that was top of my list was to do an aquarium, and we've been debating. Like, I wanted to do a really big one in my den, but like the pricing has gone sky high since last I did it over 10 years ago, right? And so we're looking at it and looking at the economy, and it didn't feel responsible to go whole hog into a big aquarium. So I have a lot of old stuff from the old aquarium that I can still reuse. We bought some new stuff, but I'm going to keep the same size of the old one. And I thought it would be fun to like just to slowly build it up into something nice. And we could do it with the boys and let the boys pick some stuff out, like little crabs and things. So we're looking forward to it. But yesterday I stained the aquarium stand, made it look nice again. And we have a lot of stuff coming in today. And we're going to be doing that this week with the boys, kind of give them a little bit of a science project for the fall here. So that's fun. That's nice. But it's funny, talk about mindset. My father came into town a couple of weeks ago, and I was showing him the house, and I mean, he was happy for us, obviously. But we're walking through the den, which is like my little man cave, right? There's the TV, the couch, the big fluffy couch with the bars in there, and it's all wood paneled walls, and like it's just my man cave. All my bookshelves and my books and fireplace. And I show him where the aquarium's going to go, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." I'm like, "Wow, what?" He's like, "Well, you never took care of an aquarium the whole time you had one." Now, granted, I was a different person. 15, 20 years ago. I didn't. Like, sometimes I would let it go and it would get all algae and covered in crap. And sometimes things would die. But my thought was that, like, man, like, talk about fixed mindset, right? Everything that I've done in my life, everything that I've persevered through, businesses that I've run, and including this one, but marriage struggles we've been through, and kids, and like all of the improvements I've made, and I can still, at 43 years old now, walk through my new house with my father, and he can still see me as a kid that didn't take care of his aquarium. Talk about a fixed mindset, right? And it dawned on me like where a lot of my fixed mindset came from. When somebody's telling you like you can't do something because you've never been able to do it before, or because you've never shown proof that you've done it before, regardless of the struggle. Like so they're basically telling you, don't even try. Don't even try. You've never been able to do it before. Don't even try. And that's a terrible mindset. That's an awful mindset. But a lot of people have it. And so if that's your mindset, I would say to you, please try to change it. And if you have people like that in your life, you need to set boundaries. You need to set boundaries. There are certain people, like, look, my father is my father. Like, and I've had this conversation with my siblings before. Like, he's 67 years old at this point. He is who he is, and you just have to accept him for who he is. And occasionally you say, that's not true, right? You set your boundaries. But sometimes you just have to let it roll off your back. But there are other people in your life that you see every day, friends that constantly bring you down, that want you to be the person that you were for them before, that they could commiserate with, and that they could be this, like, like you could sort of be kind of, I don't want to say the word failure, but you know what I'm saying, right? I'm not trying to be harsh with it, but like, so you could both fail together and it's comfortable, right? Rather than pick you up and push you to do something more, because if you do something more, then you become somebody they're not comfortable with. You might start straying away from them, right? And so you have to be careful what input you're taking. And if you're constantly hearing that you can't do something, if somebody's constantly telling you, don't do that, you can't do that, that's not for you, that's not good. That's not okay. You need to change that. So change the relationship, maybe get rid of the relationship, put boundaries on the relationship, whatever needs to happen. In the case of my dad, I see him in person. I talk to him every day, but I see him in person a couple times a year. And, it's just like setting that boundary. Well, that's not true. And just kind of like, that's not true. And sometimes I just shake my head and keep on going, right? But you just have to kind of let it roll off. And it takes a lot of time to get that kind of confidence, I guess, if you want to call it that, to just kind of let it go. It's funny. Like at 43 years old, I can still be put in a position of being like an 18-year-old kid, right? It's just weird. And I think it's the way people see, especially when you don't see each other, like you don't see somebody's growth every day. Like you tend to put them into that place where you knew them before. I look at my brother. I have an 17-year-old brother right now, and dude's like 6 foot tall, 6'4", I think. And I still think of him as this younger kid, this like even a 14-year-old, just a young kid. And we FaceTimed him a couple of weeks ago, and he's a man. He is a freaking man right now. It's hard, like it's just hard to connect the dots when you don't see everybody every day or somebody every day. And I look at like even my kid. Some days I just step back and look at my 10-year-old and go, "Oh my goodness, he's getting so big." So you have to allow for that growth. And in fact, and talking with him, every time he says, "I can't," I say, "You can. You just have to do it. You have to practice." Like he wants to, like we've been playing baseball because his friends play baseball. So we've been going to the field and playing catch and hitting balls. And, when he's not good, when he's not hitting a home run every time he takes a swing, he's like, "Oh, I'm not good at baseball." I'm like, "No, you haven't even tried." It's like the video games you play, like me trying to go play one of your video games after you've been playing for 1,000 hours and me trying to be as good as you. It just doesn't happen that way. You have to practice. You have to build skills. You have to, you build up the building blocks and then you start getting better and better and better. And then you are good. Like you just don't wake up one day. You don't have a movie montage, wake up one day and suddenly be good. It's just not the way it goes. It's not the way life happens. And even taking care of something like an aquarium, it takes practice. It takes effort. It takes mindfulness. Like these are just things you have to practice every day. And it's something that we are trying to take a better effort with my boys in trying to be mindful or teaching them to be mindful along the way. Like they'll leave things places, and that's a simple thing to help them with it, or leave the lights on. Like just be mindful. Stop and think as you're going through your day. Don't just aimlessly and thoughtlessly do things. And we're trying to help them grow that mindfulness. It's not just something like you're absent-minded. You can't just say, "I'm absent-minded," and then forgive everything that goes on in your life. You have to look at it and say, "I can improve this." All right, I've talked way too long. God, we're 15 minutes into it already, and I haven't like taken a break. So I apologize for flying off the handle on this one. Let's see. We'll see where we are with the morning here. Janice, good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me. Good morning, Debbie. I hope you had a great weekend. How was your weekend? This weekend was great for us. We got a lot done. The weather wasn't great, but we did a lot in the house, and that is a weight off my shoulders. A weight off my shoulders. And one thing I did, if my barbecue people are here with me today, we grilled pizza. I meant to make pizza dough this past week, and I just never had the time, or never made the time. And so one of my neighbors said that the pizza dough at Whole Foods is really good. So I ordered it, had it delivered to the house, and I made it, and it came a little almost frozen. They made it too cold. So the first couple pizzas, I wasn't expecting it to be that cold, so it didn't thaw before I made the pizza. But the other ones, the last two thawed out, and we threw them on the grill. I bought a grilling stone to put on my charcoal grill, our pizza stone to put on my charcoal grill, and we grilled 4 different kinds of pizza. We just did one with cheese and sauce. My wife likes white pizza, so we did ricotta cheese and basil and garlic and mozzarella balls. We did a sausage pizza with basil and mozzarella, and then we did one more white. I don't remember what was on that. I think we ran out of it. Oh, we put tomatoes on it. But so we tried to get the grill as hot as possible and grill these pizzas, and it worked. Didn't get quite as hot as I wanted it to. I'm trying to get it to like 600 degrees, and I just can't get it there. I need one of those big green egg grills, but they're like $1,000, and I'm not looking to spend that right now. So we grilled these pizzas, and oh my god, they came out so good. Especially the last two, because the stone got so hot, and it got that like little bit of char at the bottom of the crust and bubbly on top. Boy, that was awesome. Can't wait to do it again. On the downslide with all that, Janice, pop back in here. Tell me what you're on the downslide with. Let's talk about it. What's the downslide? Tell me all about that. I want to know. Sherry, what's going on? Good morning. Robin, good morning. Robin, you were reading my mind yesterday. I don't remember specifically what the post was, but I know whatever you wrote. I was like, yep, exactly. Deborah, good morning. Janice, trying to overcome those voices with my business ventures. Yeah, so I think everybody, if you're an intelligent person, right? If you're a thoughtful person, if you're a mindful person, you doubt yourself. They say the smartest people have the most doubts because you understand the possibilities of failure. You see all the different variables around you, and that's why like the smartest people kind of lock themselves up in fear rather than driving forward. You almost have to have a little bit of a narcissistic. And I don't want. This sounds harsh, but you almost have to have a little bit of a I don't care mentality. Narcissistic is toxic. You don't want to be narcissistic, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like you have to have this little bit of like go get them no matter what kind of mentality. And Janice, I would say like in my experience with business ventures, including this one, is that as an entrepreneur, I can have a million ideas of what to do. But if you can focus on one specific thing, you can be highly successful at that one thing if you do it really, really well. And I look at like somebody that comes to mind immediately is Jasmine Star. She's a big social media person, and she has like focused in on like one part of her business, like being an influencer, being a that online social media influencer. And she did this, and I think this might be like one of the only ways she makes money. She has a $20 a month program called Social Curator, and every month she puts out like this ebook with like like ideas to post on social media, and like pictures, stock photos that she's taken, the calendar of different like today's like National Pizza Day, like that sort of stuff, like prompts you for ideas to post about. And that $20 a month has made her like she's focused on that. Like rather than do a million things that she could have done, she focused on that and her community and has built an incredible business out of it. And I think somebody that can potentially like her be pulled in a million different directions. I respect that she's really focused in on that and done an excellent job with it. And now like she's just getting into TikTok. So she did her Instagram and her Facebook really well. She focused on those two areas for a while, and now she's just getting into TikTok, just trying to expand it like step by step in a strategic way. And I think that's great. Now, she may say, because I think everybody would say this, like I'm not as strategic as I would like to be, right? Everybody can say that. Like everybody sees improvement, places that they could potentially improve. But that doesn't mean they're not doing a really good job already anyway. So Janice, rounding all this up, I would say everybody has those voices. And the best advice I could give you is to understand that those voices are just there to kind of give you like guardrails, but they shouldn't stop you, right? I'm sorry, I got a little something in my eye right now. But they shouldn't stop you from doing what you want to do. They're guardrails. They're ways to like kind of keep your head up and look around for potential problems. But if you can sort through them in a strategic way, especially using Define My Days, you can talk through those like your priorities, right? And try to focus in on what the main priority and avoid the distractions. You want to really listen to them, but help like focus on like so what you can do to sort through which ones you want to listen to and which ones you need to disregard. It's a complicated thing, I know, and I'm trying to explain it in 5 minutes, and it's hard to do. Sis says that's what we do when we label our kids. If your kid is great at drawing or music or math, and you're always telling people that, it could set a process that makes them think that that's what they have to do. Yes. My friend's young kid drew architectural drawings from early grammar school age to adulthood, but that is not his direction at this point, and everybody's surprised. And that's the truth. Like like, and I'm very sensitive about that. Anytime somebody says anything about one of my boys, like he has always been that way, or he is so whatever, or that's who he is. Like I hate anything that boxes them in. Because if one day my kid wakes up and says, I want to start drawing, dude, go for it. As long as you do it. Like I don't want my problem is when my kid says, I want to play baseball, but then he doesn't want to practice. He just wants to go out and play baseball and be a a star. That's not going to happen. But like, I don't want anybody to say my kid's too small or my kid's too whatever. I mean, like whatever, insert thing here. I don't like labels, right? I don't like labeling my kids anything. I can observe behaviors that they have and try to work through those with them. But I don't want to say like, you are. I don't want that I am thing to happen to them. I am absent-minded. I am unable to take care of an aquarium. I am, not athletic. I am like all these. I know I can be athletic. I just choose not to. Like that's not like I'm actually trying to be more athletic. But like, if you are somebody that somebody says like you're not athletic, and you say I am not athletic, well, you just choose not to be. Like an athlete goes out and is an athlete every day, right? The minute you go out and exercise, you're an athlete, right? The minute you go out and try to play a sport, you're an athlete. You're not a really good athlete yet, but you will be if you keep practicing. You might not be a mathematician, but the day you start doing math problems, you're becoming a mathematician. The day you start drawing, you're an artist. There's some art out there that gets big money that I would not say that person's skilled. Somebody else appreciates it, right? It's all a matter of how we talk to ourselves. Good morning, Stacy. Thank you for joining me. Love grilled pizza. Made some this weekend. Cool. See, we're on the same page. Oh, I actually didn't even think about doing that from a pizzeria. There is a pizza place really close to us that does take and bake pizzas, and they're very good. I haven't been there in a long time. Yeah, definitely yum. We're doing it again. I can't wait. And tomorrow there's a taco truck coming to our neighborhood, and so tomorrow's Taco Tuesday. Very excited for that too. So Kathy has a pizza oven for your Green Mountain Grill. I'm gonna look that up. That's a great. That's a I like. I thought in my den that I was talking about earlier, we have a fireplace, and on the top left is a little like grill with its own flue, and we thought that's what it was, but I wasn't sure. And the chimney sweep came in. He's like, "Yeah, that's an oven. That's like a brick oven." And I was so excited, and so I started. I tried to use it one day, and it just smoked out the house. It's not like there's something wrong with it. And eventually I'll have somebody look at it, but I was so disappointed because I wanted to use that so bad, so bad. Amy, good morning. Didn't do too much. Spent time with my husband in the pool and listening to music on Saturday. That's great. That's a perfect weekend. I'm very disappointed. I want to fix my lighting here because I don't like the way I look like really goofy. I think. Is that better? That seems better. With it being August now, I am very conscious of how quickly the summer has gone by and how few days we have left to go in the pool and spend time outside. Once that water gets into the 70s again, it gets hard. And, if it's like 78 degrees and the water is in the 70s, it's very hard to enjoy the water. So, yeah, taking advantage of this week being very hot, knowing that our days are numbered. It's going to be a sad day when we can't go in the pool anymore. DMD health moving forward, downslide. Yeah, we all go through it. We all go through it. And I think that you don't want to lean into it, right? And sometimes we're tempted to. And I was thinking about this morning as far as mindset's concerned. Our mindset influences our actions, and then our actions influence our mindset or create a mindset. So if your mindset causes you to not do what you know you're supposed to do, right, or you should be doing for yourself that's healthy, whether it's define my day or your healthy habits like exercise or work, and so then you're operating in a way that isn't healthy. And when you don't do those things, it doesn't create a healthy reaction, and it further deteriorates your mindset. So I always, like, as I was depressed and saw things happening to me or happening within me years ago, I likened it to kind of like a plane diving like in a nosedive, right? And you got to do whatever you can do to pull back on the yoke and pull out of that. And, it's not as dramatic as that for a lot of people. And I can see it happening to myself randomly over time. And I think we just have to, like, you have to, like, create a no. Like, you have to wake up one day and say, no, like, I'm going to change it now. And I'm going to start pulling back. And it doesn't have to be immediate changes. Like, you can't go from here to here, right? You have to slowly kind of pull out of it. And, and I think it's like, don't wait for your mindset to change. The same way you don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for your mindset to change. You just do the things that you should do, whether you want to or not. However, you need to game yourself to do it. So, listening to a podcast or an audiobook, or, for me, like, one of those things is like upkeep of the house, like doing the dishes. We talk about this all the time, right? Doing the dishes is like a pain in the butt for me. The way I get through that is to listen to something while I'm doing it, to give place some value on that time. So whether it's listening to a podcast, listening to an audiobook, whatever that might be, it's sort of placing value on that time. So it's almost, I feel like I'm using it in a worthwhile way, but I'm also coming away with knowledge. I'm coming away with an uplifted spirit, and I come out of that just a little bit better. And if you can find more of those pieces in your day to slowly pull out of a downward spiral or a slide, you have to find those things, right? So walking around with headphones with something positive in your ears is a great way to go about it. Lynn finds it annoying because I have noise canceling headphones, so I can't hear anything, and people are talking to me and can't hear anything but this. But that's what I need sometimes, right? And so when we do these positive actions, it then uplifts our mindset, right? It then, so don't let your mindset change your actions. Let your actions change your mindset. If you wait for your mindset to change, you're going to be buffeted by or pushed in a direction by the winds of change each day. Like the current status of what's going on in the world around you is going to change your actions constantly, and you're going to be completely at the mercy of whatever's going on around you. And you're going to feel unstable. You're going to feel uncertain. You're going to feel like it just all over the place, right? I can't think of the word right now, but so if you give yourself a rudder, if rather than being this boat going all over the place, you give yourself a little bit of a rudder and realize that you're still going to go different directions based on what's going on around you. But if you have some consistency from your actions, you will build up a more positive mindset. I am like from a depression standpoint, from an ADHD standpoint, from a anxiety standpoint, from just a regular person who needs to improve their state of being, no matter what you're going through, I'm a firm believer that it's actions that change your mindset and not the other way around. If you act in a different way, in a more positive way, you will experience a more positive mindset. If you act in a more disciplined way, you will become more disciplined. And it becomes easier, and you start going this way rather than that way. I am a firm believer that actions are stronger than words and thoughts. Act healthy, and you'll be healthy, right? It's that you go back to Atomic Habits when he says, every time you do something, you're placing a vote for who you want to be. So if you act healthy, if you act disciplined, if you act mindful, you're placing a vote for being a mindful person, for being a healthy person. So change your actions. Change your actions. Do the things you know you need to do. Start acting in alignment with what you know is right for you. Do that, and your life will change. 100%. Yep. Stacy, same thing. Downslide 2. Kind of letting go of the reins right now, and I'm in a don't give a crap right now. Yeah. I get you. And I have been there. We are all there. Like, this current state of affairs has us there. And while we don't like this, there's that concept of toxic positivity and toxic, mentorship that's going on right now, which is a thing, right? We do need to give ourselves more space. We do need to maybe lower our expectations. But I, again, liken it to that flight path. If we're going down, we need to pull up. So whatever you need to do to pull up, and even if you glide for a while, fine. Just make sure you're gliding and have a 1 degree angle, upward, right? You don't need to be shooting for the stars right now. If you can, take advantage of that momentum and that energy. If you can't, don't be nosediving, right? Just do what you need to do to maintain and just slowly go up. We want to take, look at this as a time to care for yourself and take a breather and find where that point is, where you're doing just a little bit more than enough to improve, right? That's my challenge for you right now. And I'm going to talk to you about how we're going to try to work through this together in a little bit here. Overwhelm. That's it. Overwhelm. And so this is something that I think is happening to a lot of people. We might be paying attention to too much, right? Whether it's too much news or too much gossip or too much BS around the house. We miss important things because we're taking in too much information. So look at all of the things you're engaged in every day and decide what you need to cut out. What is not benefiting you? What do you need to stop doing? There's something right now that you're spending a ton of time on, or that's weighing down your mindset that you need to stop doing, but it's almost maybe a guilty pleasure, or it's just something that you feel obligated to engage in, something that's negatively impacting you that you need to just quit. And believe me, I identify these things. I find a new one every day. I'm actually upset because I had a $20 Dick's reward certificate that expired yesterday, and Lynn and I talked about it yesterday. We need to use this today. It's going to expire. It's a free $20. And I saw it today, and I'm like, oh my God, we missed it. I had 8 hours to use it yesterday after we identified that we needed to do it. Why didn't we use it? Because I let myself get caught up in other BS distractions. Because there were so many other things going on that I was paying attention to. That one little thing that was $20, free $20. Who wouldn't take advantage of that? Me. Because I was too engaged in other stuff that probably didn't matter. And when that happens, when I allow myself to get distracted, I miss out on $20. And sometimes something much bigger than $20. You ever have that happen? So we need to, I need to, you need to, we all need to filter out the distractions that stop us from doing what we need to do. Distraction is your number one enemy in being successful in life, in being happy, in being fulfilled, in doing what you need to do, in being healthy. Distraction. So when we talk every day about, right here, today I will avoid, right? Oh, you can't see it. Too bright, too bright, too bright. Today I will avoid. It appears right there every day. I want you to identify that thing that is distracting you from being the person you want to be. That it happens to everybody. I am identifying distractions all the time, right? I know that if I am going to watch the news too much, that's a distraction that is killing me. I want to be informed, absolutely. But do I need to watch any more than 15 minutes of news a day? No, because I can't do anything about it. It's not doing anything but stressing me out. So I quit. I need to draw that line. It might be too much TV for you. It might be gossiping. Whatever it is for you, whatever that distraction is, it might be just doing something that you shouldn't be doing. You know, like engaging in an activity that you just know that's like a waste of my time, right? It's a distraction. Me moving the junk out of my house back in June was a distraction. I could have paid somebody a couple $100 to move all the rest of the junk out of that house. Instead, I got hit with a bookshelf and I still can't wear shoes. And I just got a bill from the hospital for $1,600. That is a costly day of doing something I should not have been doing. That was a distraction. I should have been working. Lesson learned. And I guarantee something's going to hit me in the head again and go, I thought you learned that lesson. Yeah, I guess I got to learn it again. Right? That was an expensive day for me. And I still can't walk correctly. Stupid. And people told me, why are you doing that yourself? Just have somebody else do it. You have more important things to do. Because I was stupid. I engaged in a distraction the way that everybody else engages in distractions, but this one was incredibly costly for me. I should have been working. Instead, I took a day off and injured myself, doing something that I should not have been doing. Distraction. Clear-cut distraction. Don't do that again. That's the universe telling me, stop it. Stop doing this crap. You just ruined a month of your summer. Could have been a lot worse. You could have needed surgery on your Achilles because, you know, this was a warning shot. Don't do it again. So pick out your distraction, big or small right now. Get away from it. Tell yourself, give yourself an alarm bell. When this happens, when I engage in this, I'm going to immediately stop and think, this is not healthy for me. Distraction is your enemy. It will kill everything that you're doing. How many times did I miss a workout over my life because I sat too long on my phone? It happens to everybody, right? Oh yeah, I was supposed to work out today, but I got stuck on TikTok. I didn't go to bed on time because I got stuck on TikTok. That's not smart. Are you going to remember what you saw on TikTok 3 weeks from now? No, but you're going to remember being tired because you're still going to be tired because you're probably still engaging in that distraction. And overwhelm, and I'm going to go back to this real quick. Overwhelm is usually us engaging in too many things we shouldn't. There are very few things that are life-changing that we should invest our time in. Overwhelm happens when we engage in too much crap. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Every one of us can say, you know what? Yeah, I'm overwhelmed because I have all these things I'm looking at and I need to stop it. That's why we have priorities here. That's why we identify our priorities. Because we need to identify the things we need to focus on today and not all of the other crap around us. Let me go back up here. All right. Emptying a storage unit and downsizing stuff filled most of my weekend. That's something on my list of things to do. We need to do the same thing. Lots of donations and eliminating of unnecessary items. Spent part of my Sunday doing a drive-by birthday for a sweet young lady who turned 15. That's a quality weekend. And I'll tell you, organizing your space, cleaning out spaces is cathartic. It's amazing. And just doing the little bit that I did this weekend feels great. And I know we have storage units, and we've been talking about it. like how we need to consolidate storage units and get rid of a lot of our stuff. Debbie, come to realize that I can give myself grace and maintain my own positivity even if the world is feeling as if it's in chaos. I hope others give themselves that grace, but I can't do it for them. That's exactly it. All I can do and all you can do is give somebody tools, right? Give somebody a tool. Somebody even asked on one of our posts, how is this going to hold me accountable? It can't. It can't. You have to hold yourself accountable. You can write down anything in here, but if you don't hold yourself accountable, it's not going to happen. And that's the way, like, I can give people the tools, I can give people the ideas, but if they don't do it themselves, there's nothing we can do. And there's people that'll make up a million excuses every day why they can't do something. And I can tell them that's an excuse, but they might not hear it. They probably won't hear it. Because if they're in the excuse making mode, they're going to make excuses why they make excuses. And if you can identify that in yourself, stop it. I mean, look, we all do it, but you can't let it get unhealthy, right? But yeah, I mean, that's it. Like, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, but hold yourself accountable. Be responsible for the result. If you're doing something where the result is going to be unhealthy down the road, stop it. Stop it. Bonnie, that's a new name. Hi, Bonnie. I never caught a live before. Oh, see? Yep, new name. I bought the Find My Day books probably a year ago. Oh, well, thank you. I started filling it out once and didn't make it through 2 days. Sorry to hear that. Today should be my new day one. Good. My world is slipping back into that overwhelming anxiety with boundaries slipping and lists everywhere. Too many lists. Need the single source. Good. I'm fully appreciating what you're saying at this exact moment about dishes, positive actions. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Vonnie, I hope to see you in these going forward. Please get into the user group and comment and ask questions. There's a lot of awesome people in the user group, and I'm sure they would love to hear from you. And welcome back. I'm glad you made it back your way. I'm glad you made your way back here. Yeah, welcome. Welcome, Vonnie. I've had mine since January. Some weeks are better than others. Definitely need to work on my mindset. Thank you, Amy. And look, a lot of people go through this, right? It's not you're going to buy this and you're going to start doing it and it's going to change your life immediately. There's like this, going back to that plane reference. I'm always talking about transportation because I know we're like moving through life this way. We talk about trains, planes, and automobiles, right? But so, like this nosedive, like when we start pulling ourselves out, like you're like this plane, like you kind of like, this is okay as long as you're going up. You don't want to go down and then almost hit the ground and then come back up, right? You want to make a slow progress up, but you can go up and down. It happens. It happens. It's almost like breathing, like you just exhale and inhale, or exercising. Like you work out real hard for a little while, and then you take a break, and then you work out real hard and you take a break. And sometimes you need more rest than other times. Stacy says, I'm getting amazing results if I look at the actions. I'm down to pant sizes. Oh, okay. I'm getting stuff fixed, repaired, and in order on the home front. Work I've had to cut back to 2 to 4 hours a day. I honestly can't deal with the level of grief and trauma and extreme need that clients are needing help with. That's hard, right? And that's hard. And I've experienced that too, is that like sometimes, you realize like people have like huge issues happening in their lives. And if you're empathetic, you start taking that on and absorbing it, and it can be detrimental. So having that boundary is hard. You want to be there for them, but you also have to kind of guard your own mindset. I know how that goes. And it's one after another. I feel like I'm in impulse mode with work. Just put out one major fire that day for my own well-being now, and getting in fast to get it done. Yep, and get out and retreat. But that's not the attitude I want to have. So no, but the fact that you're aware of this happening is huge, right? So the awareness is the first step in everything. I mean, like some people, like you have to crack that awareness barrier first. Everybody, you have to crack that awareness barrier first and be aware of what's going on. either of a problem or an experience or your feelings, be aware of it. Only then can you develop a plan to repair it or work with it. But that's not the attitude I want to have. My enthusiasm for trying to bang stuff out on the home front. I gave myself heat stroke last week. I've been there too. And lost 3 days really because I was junked for 2 days trying to recover. Been there. And I'm still there now with this heel problem, right? But on the personal side, I had a high quality day yesterday celebrating Auntie Mom's 91st birthday, and we even danced. Very cool. It's not like the little things now, isn't it? Very cool. Good for you, Stacy. Devices are the definite downfall. Yeah, right? I know how that goes. And so we're working with our kids there too. Like, we see that they're spending a lot of time on their devices, and we're allowing it to happen because, for one, my 10-year-old, that's where he gets together with his friends. So he can spend the entire day on the PlayStation, which I don't like, but at the same time, that's where his friends are, right? So we're trying to figure out like what's healthy and what's not, and we have to set boundaries. Like as they get maybe a little bit too into it, we have to have them pull back, and we even explain to them like this is why we're telling you we're placing this boundary on you. Devices, email, Facebook are the biggest distractions. Yeah, I know. Yep, I know everybody's like devices now, especially because like we're kind of finding purpose or losing purpose right now. Devices are an easy distraction. Yeah, Vonnie, distraction is the biggest enemy. That everybody. I mean, that's it. Like if anybody's overwhelmed or feeling like there's just too much going on, which is overwhelmed. Me just saying it two different ways. It's distraction. It's because we're engaging in too much stuff, and a lot of it doesn't matter. Allowing distractions to happen consciously. I'm guessing you meant unconsciously also. A means of avoidance. Yep, inadvertently avoiding those things that could honestly be done so quickly, but for whatever reason are such a challenge. As you said, making excuses. This is a phenomenon that I amuse myself with every day. It's like there's little things that we avoid doing that we would feel so much better by doing them, but we don't. And it weighs on us for possibly days or weeks, and we don't do it. And then when we do it, when we say, you know what, today I'm going to get that thing done. And it takes us 15 minutes and it's done, and we immediately feel like, whoa, that felt great, right? Why don't I do that more often? I don't know. Why don't you? Like that's literally a conversation in my mind. There's things that I could have just done and I don't. And then I go, well, dumbass. I'm sorry. But that's really what I think. Like, why are we letting this get to be so big? It's not that big. It just festers. It just festers. And it's not the way you want to be. A friend of mine says, I'm calling horseshit on you. Now what are you going to do? I love it. Yeah, those are the kind of friends that are great. I want more of those friends. Horseshit. Seriously, what are you doing right now? I want more of those friends. Some people get really defensive when you call horseshit. And why? Why? Yeah, I would rather actually have that honesty. Oh, Tarsha, come on. I'm distracted as you speak. It's ridiculous. I find it hard just to do one thing at a time. I know. It takes practice. And we fall out of practice. Not a long time ago, but a couple of years ago, would always have like a video playing in the background or the TV on or my iPad showing like playing a movie while I was working. That's a bad habit. So we're losing the ability to focus on one thing. And what I would ask you to do, Tarsha, is pick a task and do it for as long as you can do it without doing anything else. Time it. And if you made it 4 minutes and 30 seconds, try to do it again at a later time, whether it's tomorrow or later on in the day. Try to do it for 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Try to do it for 5.5 minutes. This is what I've done with myself. It's a muscle, right? It's that ability to focus. And if you can get up to 20 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, that's one hell of an accomplishment. And learning to focus like that is a game changer. Because right now, if you're not focusing on one thing at any point in time, you're not taking advantage of the efficiency that's built into our brain. Like when you get into a flow state, you're never getting into a flow state the way you're doing it. To get into a flow state, you need to focus on something and be there for 15, 20 minutes where it's like this deep. And then when you like come up out of it, you're like, oh, wow, that was great. Right. We're never getting there because we're not practicing that focus. We're constantly task switching and we're never getting on that focus. So we're training ourselves. The more we task switch, the more we're training ourselves to be that way and the less ability we have to focus. And you definitely don't want to build the task switching muscle. That's inefficient and doesn't work. Build your focus muscle. Time yourself and try to beat that time every time. And as you feel yourself losing focus and straying, double down and try to get a couple more seconds out of it or a minute or two. The better you can be there, the better you will be. And if you can get to almost an hour, you will be super efficient. Super efficient. And then in an hour, you take a 10-minute break and try to get back down to it, right? Just build that muscle. Build that muscle. Yeah, good job dropping 2 pant sizes. I need to do that. You sound like you're an awesome person, so hang in there and take care of you. Yes, absolutely. She absolutely is an awesome person. She's been here for a long time, and I know what you're going through. And I think anybody that is trying to coach other people, especially if you are highly empathetic, you're absorbing a lot of those emotions and trying to create that barrier where you can be empathetic, but not like Brene Brown talks about, like, you don't need to climb down in the hole with the person. You can stand and help them get out of it. You don't have to climb into it with them. And that's the boundary that you have to work on creating. D says, I've been in a funk for the past month. Time to pick myself up and even get one thing done each day. I retired 2 weeks before the stay at home and I'm struggling with finding a new routine. Yes, and that's a big problem for a lot of people that are now stuck at home, and it's been a problem for like a lot of our customers that retire. Just wake up in retirement and say, "Whoa, now what?" And it's easy just to get listless, and that's why people get so unhealthy after they retire because there's no routine. They had the schedule and routine that they're so used to, and they had to like their schedule told them where to be and how to be, and now all of a sudden they have this freedom, and it's just like. But now what, right? And you just sort of drift. And so you have to reevaluate your purpose, reevaluate the best use of your time and where you want to be. Like, what do you want to become now that you're retired and have this ability to be whatever you want? Like, these are options you've never had in a long time. And so now, what do you want to be? What's going to make you feel fulfilled? Tarsha, thanks you for saying my name. Oh, you're welcome. Hi, I broke you out of your distraction. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Good for you. Debbie says, multitasking is my downfall because I get too many things started and then feel as if I totally fail if I can't possibly finish them all in a single day. Yes. By blocking out a specific period of time and saying it's okay to stop, I can celebrate the defined task until I can celebrate the completed task. Yes. And you're describing this scenario that happens with me also, and it happens with a lot of people, is that sometimes you look at the big task or the many tasks, and it's hard to get started. So people get started by looking at the whole big picture. But then other people get started on a bunch of stuff and don't finish because they get overwhelmed there. So you have to find this healthy place where you start a task and allow yourself to get to a point that it's okay to stop and then commit to coming back to it to finish it, right? Even if you have to go and take care of other things. So you have to grow this ability to focus on something and then let it go and commit to coming back to it and seeing it through. You can't just leave things open all the time forever because it's just going to build up into another big mess. And you can't have this feeling that you need to start something and completely finish it because you almost there's a lot of things that you'll just never be able to do that with. So it's a mindfulness thing. It's a discipline thing. It's a focus thing. And and it's hard. I know because I go through it myself, and I've been in all of those places. Um, it's just an exercise in allowing yourself to stop at a checkpoint and come back to it later, but then also honoring that commitment that you're going to come back to it later. Um, yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Hey, Stacy, we're grateful for you too. Thank you. Amy, working on reevaluating my working on reevaluating my purpose. Still haven't found it, especially with the shutdown. Yeah, it's hard. Um, I liken this as like having this foggy idea of the direction I want to go, and I'm trying to evaluate what feels good and what feels bad as far as purpose. The point with purpose, I think, is to keep acting toward what feels okay. And eventually, like you're going to run into a wall and go, well, that didn't feel good. And so then you know that's not part of your purpose. But we don't figure it out. Like we need to run into that wall to find out what we don't like. So keep doing things, keep making mistakes, keep failing, and you'll find what failures you want to work through and persevere through and overcome. And you'll find what failures you're going to look at and go, oh, I didn't even enjoy that whole process. There's nothing about this that's worthwhile for me. It's a trial and error. And I think like the whole experience of finding your purpose, if you look at it as kind of an adventure, you'll appreciate it a lot more. Pandemic makes it real hard, real hard. Time check. What's up? Ooh, 10:58. All right, listen. Uh, with that time check, I want to announce that on Thursday we are going to do a happy hour. And this happy hour is going to take place on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/definedlife. Now, this happy hour will involve alcohol. I am going to make a drink. I'm probably going to make a whiskey on the rocks, and we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about healthy habits. So this is the Healthy Habit Happy Hour. It's going to be on Thursday at 5 o'clock. It's going to be much less formal. I'm not going to promise that I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to, I'm obviously going to have a drink in hand. I invite you to have a drink in hand also. And we're going to talk about the healthy habits that we utilize, the healthiest habits that we enjoy or what we found made a difference in our lives. So I invite you to join me. I want to talk about what habits you are utilizing in your day. And as a thank you for joining me for happy hour, I'm going to give away some stuff. I'm going to give away a Define My Day. I'm going to give away a couple packages of pens. We're gonna come up with some fun things to give away for the people that join me live on that happy hour. So it's going to be at 5 o'clock Eastern on Thursday on my Facebook page, not Define My Day, but my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/definedlife. And I'll schedule it and we'll get it on there. But that's the only place it's going to be. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you all. I appreciate the good discussion. Have a great week, and I will see you on Thursday at 5 o'clock.